Washington, at a press briefing that touched on artificial intelligence, global trade, tariffs, India, NATO concerns and religious liberty, President Donald Trump delivered a wide-ranging set of remarks that underscored both the opportunities and challenges his administration says the United States faces. The president opened by stressing the monumental importance of artificial intelligence, calling it a transformative force that surpasses even the digital revolution of recent decades. Donald Trump said, "If you look at AI, all of those trillions and trillions of dollars, the biggest thing, bigger than the internet, I suspect it's the internet plus 3 or 4 other things combined. We are leading very substantially with AI. We're leading because of tariffs, we're leading because of talent, and this is where they'd like to be. But without the tariffs, we wouldn't have a chance because we wouldn't be able to protect those investments of the companies coming in." He warned that eliminating tariffs would put the nation at risk, painting a dire picture of the consequences. Trump said bluntly, if you took away tariffs, we could end up being a third world country. That's how big the ruling. The president explained that his administration was seeking an expedited ruling to protect tariff authority, arguing that without it, American competitiveness and security would be compromised. Pressed on whether Republican control of Congress was enough to codify tariffs permanently, Trump pointed to Senate math. He acknowledged, yeah, but we don't have 60 votes. We don't have 60 votes. I'd love to do that. If we had 60 senators, if we got the 60 votes, we would get them. But we need 60 votes and we need, a certain number in the House. To Trump, the policy has wide support among Republicans. He turned to allies present asking for agreement on the necessity of tariffs. His message was clear. Tariffs are not optional. They are, in his view, essential to national strength. Without tariffs, we're a different country, he declared. We have taken in so much money. The president then highlighted trade agreements signed under his administration. He cited deals with Japan, South Korea, and the European Union, presenting them as evidence of successful negotiations. According to Trump, we signed a deal with Japan. They're paying us hundreds of billions of dollars. We signed a deal with South Korea. We signed a deal with the European Union. We signed a deal with Europe, and those countries are paying us $950 billion, and they're happy about it. He emphasized that even foreign leaders recognized how lopsided trade had been against the United States for decades. Trump recalled one leader confiding, it's amazing that we got away with it so long. But Trump also sounded a warning. Should courts or international bodies rule against U.S. tariff policies, the financial stakes would be enormous. If that ruling ever went against us, I guess we'd have to give back hundreds of billions. We would have to give trillions and trillions of dollars back to countries that have been ripping us off for the last 35 years. Still, he expressed confidence in both the legality and common sense logic behind his approach. On a legal basis, they have no legal basis whatsoever, but on a common sense basis, it would destroy America. Reporters shifted to questions about NATO concerns after reports surfaced regarding satellite interference affecting a European leader's aircraft. Trump acknowledged the issue but kept the tone light. He said of the European Commission president, "She had an interesting event. She's a tremendous woman." Asked about NATO's alarm, he remarked that nobody knew the source of the disruption, but noted wryly that sometimes having a phone disabled could be a blessing. They did take away her ability to use a phone. Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes that could happen to me. I'd be very happy. Attention turned to India, where Trump defended his approach to resetting a long-standing trade imbalance. He explained, "We get along with India very well." But India has, for many years, it was a one-sided relationship. Only now, since I came along, and because of the power that we have with tariffs. India was charging us tremendous tariffs, about the highest in the world. They were about the highest in the world, number one. According to the president, India's prohibitive duties made US exports almost impossible, while Indian goods flooded the American market tariff-free. He offered a vivid example. Harley-Davidson couldn't sell into India. There was a 200% tariff on a motorcycle. So what happens? Harley-Davidson went to India and built a motorcycle plant, and now they don't have to pay tariffs. Trump argued that his administration had reversed that dynamic, forcing a more level playing field. He linked tariffs directly to foreign investment, particularly in manufacturing. Literally thousands of companies are coming into the US, car companies, AI, but more traditionally car companies. We have so many car company factories under construction or being designed right now, and they're coming from China, they're coming from Mexico, they're coming from Canada. The president said foreign automakers were motivated by tariffs to relocate to US soil. They want to build here for two reasons. Number one, they'd like to be here. And number two, the tariffs are protecting them. And number three, they want to avoid paying tariffs. When they build their cars here, they don't have any tariffs to pay. The president also addressed domestic security concerns, particularly in light of a recent shooting in Minnesota. He noted that the Department of Homeland Security was dispersing funds to bolster security at faith-based organizations across the country. The Department of Homeland Security is now awarding more than $100 million to hundreds of faith organizations across the country to help them ramp up security, he confirmed. Asked about his broader vision for protecting religious liberty, Trump reiterated the administration's commitment to safeguarding all faiths. Religious liberty is so important, and we're talking about every religion now, and we're doing things on that nobody else has ever done. And we're going to be having a big announcement in about 2 weeks on that question. Throughout the briefing, Trump's remarks circled back to a few central themes: tariffs as a tool for economic strength, artificial intelligence as a defining technology of the century, and the need to protect American industries against foreign competition. He frequently positioned tariffs not just as revenue, but as leverage that compels trading partners to sign deals, compels companies to relocate, and compels rivals to negotiate. The president's anecdotes, whether about Harley-Davidson or the EU's willingness to strike agreements, were meant to illustrate how long-standing imbalances had been corrected. At the same time, he injected humor into heavier moments, brushing off concerns about European communications, interference with a quip about his own phone use. The press conference ended without elaboration on a question about US Space Command, but the president promised further announcements in the coming weeks on religious liberty and reiterated his administration's intention to protect America's economic future through aggressive use of tariffs. As Trump put it plainly, the strategy is non-negotiable. Without tariffs, we're a different country.